Yummy. I don't know if that'll show that or not, but you can see that is a piece of, it's a piece of that. So that is a piece of lifter. However, none of those lifters in there are bad. None of them are missing. None of them, I say, are bad. There are several that are bad, but they're not broken. So this was from a previous repair, where I'm guessing this is the best we can come up with right at this point, especially with all that crap in there. They cut that timing chain, they put a new camshaft in. For whatever reason, the cam must have crapped out. One thing that I learned, and it hadn't been that long ago, a guy that I worked with was telling me, if you have a flat tappet camshaft, you're supposed to use what they call ZDDP, I think, and it's this stuff right here. It's an engine additive, because they've taken the zinc out of this new oil, and so this is supposed to fix that. Well, when I got it, I changed the oil on it and I put that in there. Well, that doesn't mean that the guy that owned it before me knew that, because I didn't know it when I bought it. He said, hey, you know, if you're going to change oil, make sure you do this. And because they've taken the zinc additive out of the newer oil, from what I understand, because everything now has roller lifters and roller rockers and all that kind of stuff, so it's not as important for those to have all that zinc additive as it is for these, because this is just wearing right up against the camshaft. So my guess is maybe they, you know, didn't know that and used conventional oil and didn't use the additive, and the camshaft completely took a crap on them or something, and so they put a new cam in it, and all those pieces and lobes and parts and lifters and whatever else trashed out in it. They just left it in the bottom of the oil pan. Didn't bother taking the oil pan off, took the timing chain cover off, clipped those edges like I was talking about, and just slid that back together. Well, it's been leaking ever since. This motor's pretty rough, so it needs to be rebuilt. I mean, I have no, I mean, sure, I could put it back together, but I think, I'm pretty sure this is the original motor. I really don't want to have all that crap running through everything. It looks like it got hot at some point. Everything in there is discolored. It smells like burnt oil. It didn't happen when I had it, or when I've been driving it. Somebody put a aftermarket aluminum radiator in it, so my guess is it got hot and they thought, well, there's something wrong with the radiator, let's just change it out. You can see in the passages back there, it's pretty nasty, a lot of gunk and stuff. So long story short, this needs to be rebuilt. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the heads off tomorrow, or at least one of the heads, and I'm gonna see if this has been punched, you know, 30 over or whatever. If it's punched 60 over, it's done. But I need to find out before I go, you know, getting too crazy. But yeah, if it's original, or if it's, you know, just been punched 30, and I might be able to go 60 with it and keep the original motor going in it, and that'd be awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna have to, at the very least, I'm gonna have to have it rebuilt. So that's probably what's gonna happen. I'm probably gonna pull this out. I'm gonna get me a stand to put it on. I'm gonna roll it over in the corner until I come up with the funds for machine shop work. I'm gonna put the hood back on this, and I'm gonna roll this out back and figure out a way to roll this in and out while I'm continuing to work on that. So my little girl's out here, so that's the background. She just finished watching Beauty and the Beast. But yeah, I've got lots of stuff going on, and this wasn't really in the plans, so I will do it as I can. You know, this is, there's just so not anything to these motors. They're just look so simple. I mean, like I said, I'm not a mechanic, but that just looks so easy to me. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to it than I'm thinking, but they're just, that's it. That's it. I mean, there's not that much to it. I'm sure there's lots of tricks on putting, you know, building them and all that, and I'll figure that out. Kevin will help me with it and all that. But as far as, yeah, just the parts is pretty minimal. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So I just wanted to bring you guys along for that, and tell you that's where I'm at, show you that piece that was an old lifter. And so I've got to find a good machine shop, somebody that I can trust, which, man, I hardly trust anyone anymore. It's so bad. That's why I built this shop, just completely, to be completely honest with you, the fact that I was going to build that Camaro. But there was a guy in my neighborhood that's a performance guru. I mean, the guy is amazing at what he does. Turbo engines, all kinds of stuff. And I was taking some of my stuff to him, and every time he would come back, he had changed more stuff. And he didn't call me and say, hey, I'm going to replace all your hoses and your belts and everything while I'm in here. He just did it. I'm like, all right, well, it was a couple $100 more to have stuff done, but it seemed like every time I take something to him, the bill was higher than what he had originally told me. And I'm like, all right. So I stopped taking my stuff to him. And, you know, just finding a mechanic that actually not trying to, you know, an honest mechanic is tough. So I thought, I'll just do it myself. I'll learn how to do it, and I'll do it myself. I mean, I know I can trust me. I know I'm going to do it right. So that's why I learned body work, and I know a lot about motors as far as, you know, how they work and pieces and parts and stuff like that now. And I was a machinist for 13 years, so that'll help me with a lot of things. Wasn't a motor machinist, but I was a machinist for, you know, so I can use calipers and all the tools, basically, dial calipers and bore gauges and micrometers and all that kind of stuff. I've got a really good working knowledge of all that stuff. So at the very least, once I get this back from the machine shop, I can measure out the crank and make sure all, you know, everything's within specs like it's supposed to be. But thinking about going roller with this, because I just flat don't care for these flat tappet cams and having to do that additive and taking chances and does that work and blah blah blah. So roller camshaft, roller rockers seems like a good way to go. I know it's expensive, but I'm not too sure it wouldn't prolong the life of this little bad boy, so that may be the way I go with this. I don't think I'll get too crazy with it. I'm not going to try to build a beast for this truck, but, you know, something to make it dependable and run, you know, and last. So anyway, the motor will be out of the way, so then I'll just have to pull it back out and redo the rest of the truck. And I need to replace the clutch while I'm in there too, because I was looking at the clutch disc and it looks like it's pretty worn, so probably need to do that while I've got the motor out of it. So we'll take care of that thing too. Alright guys, well, that's kind of a quick update. Hope I answered any questions. Like I said, I'm still kind of guessing here on this, but it makes real good sense that, and I know for sure that's a piece of a lifter. But as far as what they did and why they did it that way, I mean, that just sucks. Why would you let all that shit? Maybe they didn't know. Well, how could they not know if pieces of the lifters were missing and pieces of the camshaft were probably torched that camshaft? So you gotta know all that stuff's been running through this motor. So my piston walls, cylinder walls are probably just scratched all the crap. The bearings have got to be screwed because I've got chunks of that metal that's run through this. I mean, I don't know, hopefully that'll focus in on that, but man, there's just chunks and chunks. There's a huge chunk right there on my thumb of metal that was in the pan. I mean, that you can just look at it and see. That's been running through this motor and I changed the oil when I first got it. So, but you can tell that how thick that is. I mean, that's a long time worth of garbage. So bad. Yeah, look at all that. That's not dirt, that's metal. So my guess was that camshaft was destroyed. And who knows if they broke this one in right? Who knows, you know, did they soak the lifters in oil? Who knows what they did or didn't do? They half-assed it to begin with, so you know they just cut corners, you know, all the way around. My only hopes is this is the original motor. The only way I'm going to know is when I pull it out, or if I can get back there to see the casting number. And then it's a guess, because I guess it doesn't on these it doesn't match up with the VIN numbers, which I didn't know. Like I know on Chevelles and different cars like that, you can look at the VIN number and they'll be part of the number that's stamped on the block and the VIN number. Well, on these, I guess that's not the case. So all you can tell is basically is the 1970 truck motor, that type of stuff. You know, where it was. This one was built in Michigan, I believe, or I think. But yeah, if you guys know any more about that kind of stuff, let me know. You know, because if this is not the original motor, other than it is a 4-bolt main block, which is fantastic, which I'm going to rebuild it if it's not already been punched over too high, too far, or that crap that's run through the cylinders, you know, has ruined it to where it can't be bored or whatever. But I don't know. Anyway, talk to you guys later.